Viktor Frankl was an incredible man, a psychiatrist who suffered the horrors of the Holocaust. And not only did he endure some of the worst experiences anyone can face in life, he came out enlightened and a better person. And that's what this book was about, a man's search for meaning that he wrote about his experiences in the Holocaust and how you could find meaning in your life as well. Highly recommend you read this book, but at the very least, watch this video on 8 insights that I grabbed from A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, starting with the first idea. Now, number 1, you can resist your environment's influence. I think of this idea that wasn't in the book, but relates to this idea now, of the alcoholic with 2 sons. They asked the sons later how they turned out. One was very successful, didn't drink alcohol at all, and the other was just like his father, an alcoholic. Their response was the same. What do you expect? My dad was an alcoholic. Just remember, you can be a product of your environment, but you don't have to be. You always have the ability to resist it. Number 2, accept the present. Viktor Frankl said that when you lose faith in your future, you're doomed. Rightfully so. When you have no hope for your future, it can be very hard proceeding forward with your life. That being said, this could be your downfall as well. Viktor Frankl said that it was the optimistic prisoners who had the hardest chance of surviving. One example he gave was a prisoner who was so optimistic that he was going to leave March 30th. That date had passed, and shortly after he died. On his death report it said that he died from typhus, but Viktor Frankl believes it was because of lack of hope. He was so locked in on getting out, and when that date came and left and he was still in the prison, it crushed his spirit. So by all means, be hopeful for your future, but don't let it get in the way of your present. Because this moment that you want, whether it be finding love, a new job, your dream coming true, may or may not happen. So as you proceed along the way, always be accepting of what's happening to you right now. Number 3, suffering can transform you. Viktor Frankl has said that without suffering and death, life is incomplete, and that suffering is unavoidable. If it's unavoidable, why do we try so hard to resist it? What if we chose to believe that it's happening for our greater good? I think about the author going through the Holocaust. It transformed him for the better. He came out a better person and he helped so many people. Just like the events in your life, it could be like you turning from a caterpillar to a butterfly. You see, the caterpillar goes into the cocoon. It's in a dark place. Just like when you experience suffering and traumatic events, you're in a dark place. You're wondering, what's going on? Why did this happen to me? Am I going to survive it? But if you're willing to be like the author and realize that there's meaning behind what's happening, that you have the ability to come out better from the situation if you endure it, that one of these days you'll break out, be transformed, and have your own wings. There is great meaning in suffering. It can transform you. Number 4, seeking sympathy leads to bitterness. Can you recall a time in your life when you were sharing a story of your past that was traumatic and dark and you didn't get the response you're looking for? Not only did you not get sympathy, but it became a battle, a competition of who was a bigger victim. This happened to many prisoners who got out of the Holocaust. They were sharing their horrors and all their traumatic experiences, and only to be met with people saying, well, I suffered too. You know, my house was raided, and they brought up a bunch of minor details that paled in comparison to these Holocaust survivors, but still, these prisoners came out bitter because they did not get the sympathy they were seeking. Let's not make this a competition. Everyone suffers. It's not about who suffers the most. It's about learning from the experience, grabbing meaning from it, and moving on and becoming a better person. Number 5, you seek pleasure when meaning is lost. Think about your vices. Eating too much, drinking too much, watching too much TV. It's largely due to believing you don't have meaning in your life. It could be due to your job. You feel that you're in a dead-end job. Or it could be the beliefs you have about yourself. You have low self-esteem, you believe you can't improve, you can't grow, you can't actualize your dreams. When you don't have meaning in your life, you seek pleasures. So on the weekends, you're just trying to have fun. Any free time you have, you're doing it out of a sense of pleasure. But it's up to you to find that meaning. You see, I've wanted to make videos. I want to make videos that really help you and inspire the world, but I was experiencing self-doubt. There's so many days these past couple months where I wanted to make a video, but I would get my own way. I would say, it'll never be good. No one will watch it. I'm wasting my time. You see, I pulled all the meaning out of doing it. But I realized I have to create meaning some way, somehow, to say that every time that I turn on the camera, I have the opportunity to help someone. I have the opportunity to improve. And it'll help my self-esteem knowing that I'm trying my best and trying to get better. You see, if you're doing something you don't like, alcohol, drugs, too much TV, find a reason to create meaning in your life. You can do it, put your mind to it, and when you're starting to live a life full of meaning, you won't be distracted by your vices. You won't seek pleasure anymore, and all your joy and fulfillment will come from the meaning that you've created. Number 6, paradoxical intention. After Viktor Frankl got out of the Holocaust, he went back to practicing psychiatry. If you were one of his patients, he might have used this idea on you to address your fears. You see, with a lot of our fears, we try to block them out and avoid them as a way to overcome them. Here he's suggesting you do the opposite. Not only not avoid them, but focus on them so much that in a strange way, it goes away. One example being, let's say you sweat a lot in front of groups of people. He would advise you, when you're in groups of people, try your hardest to sweat as much as you can. You'll focus on the fear so much that you won't be able to sweat. Another example is insomnia. Viktor Frankl might tell you that when you're laying down in bed, try your best to stay up. In a strange way, as you fight this trying to fall asleep, you'll actually fall asleep. One last example is with rejection. If you're so fearful of being rejected and you don't put yourself out there, try to get rejected. As many times as you can, talk to someone you like, offer a business proposition, whatever it is, and in those scenarios, focus only on getting a no, only on getting rejected. And you'll find in those scenarios that the fear's gone. You're actually quite confident because you're not afraid of being rejected anymore. And you'll find that you'll get a lot more yeses than nos. Number 7, be grateful. Being grateful for where we are right now is one of the toughest things we could ever do. But maybe as you go through this book and you notice all the prisoners suffering and all the liberties that they did not have that we take for granted every day, it'll cause you to be more grateful and complain a little less. Think about all the things that we do that we don't even think about. What we choose for lunch, how we dress, what we do with our free time. Those prisoners did not have those liberties. And whenever I'm about to complain, I think about someone out there who's suffering worse than I am. And it puts it into perspective that my life is not as bad as I think. Plus, everything can happen for a reason, and you could choose to have meaning behind it if you want to. One example being with a ticket I got recently. I was going 20 miles over. I was a little frustrated thinking, there's many cars out there speeding, why did they pull me over? But I choose to believe that it happened for a reason. I got pulled over because if I didn't get pulled over, I would have gotten in a car accident a mile ahead. Just create meaning for the life you have now. Choose to be grateful. That's how you add meaning to your life. Number 8, the key takeaway. The key takeaway, in my opinion, is that your success and oftentimes your survival is dependent upon your ability to create meaning in your life. Whether it's those dark moments or the high moments, create that meaning. And when you focus on things like this, trying to be better than you were yesterday, trying to enrich the lives of others, trying to make the world a better place, your life will be tremendously meaningful. My friend, if you have not read this book, I'll leave a link to the description below. You have to check it out. And if you want more book review videos like this, subscribe to my channel today and hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. This is your friend Michael Unks, inspiring you to learn, laugh, and love. Hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see you in the next one.